we're so sorry that we're late. Just some minor tech ogres that we had to get past, but we're here now, and we are exceptionally ready for another episode of D&D, Therosian Odyssey Strands of Fate. I'm going to just briefly do what I always do, and I'm going to go through my casts, just say your name and who you'll be playing, and then we will hop right into it. Jen?
Oh, dang, that was fast. Hello, hello, friends. I am Jen. I will be playing your friendly to everyone but Cassian local wizard, Estrella.
I am Joan. I will be playing Onyx, your Azamar Nyxborn paladin rogue.
We love it. Kumi?
Hello everyone, I'm playing Kalyuka today, who is your barbarian. And standing next to her, if you can see on the screen, is baby Caillou, my little horned rabbit. Oh my god, she looks adorable and ready to support us all the way with any bardic inspiration required.
Shout out to Sarah, who is currently frantically zooming in on the map, just so that everyone can see everyone's favorite Almiraj. Next up, Lindsay.
Hello everyone, it's me, Lindsay. I am your bird-obsessed Kenku player. As you all know, she is a Gloomstalker ranger, though she comes off kind of roguey, and she is currently looking like a bit of a drowned rat floating in the water, swimming along.
She really is. And it was in shot just a moment. You could just about see her kind of blending into the darkness. Cool. And last but not least, Lulu.
Hi, I'm Lulu. I am playing Callista, the cleric of the party. She's an oracle, and she is not very happy right now with Eva, who went off on her own again, since she is really trying very hard to keep the party together, and they are making it very difficult.
We love you.
Meow. Lulu is playing the character that is kind of expressing the DM's frustrations, just like, you're splitting up again. But also, you're splitting up again, eh?
Wasn't Onyx this time?
It wasn't Onyx this time. We're all like just taking it in turns to be that person.
Okay,
I'm gonna
in
go
my
on my
defense,
own. I'm sure nothing
in
ever
my
bad
defense,
has
I was
happened
back
to
in
him.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah, you were very quick. After
And I warned people.
You did.
I was like, Mom, I'm going on
All
a field
right.
trip real quick.
Just gonna go, bye. I won't be back tomorrow morning. Bye.
Look, he deserved it. For,
Maybe.
existing.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Suggestions for the
Alright, I see.
Castrian Estrella ship name in the chat, because Castrea was not my best idea.
Yeah, no.
Cast.
Although I will
just
say, not a bad idea for just
I ship Castrea. I mean, I'm gonna have to call it Castrea.
so I have some concerns on Cassian's behalf about that name.
Oh god.
I mean,
Worst
it's
idea
very
or
fitting,
best
though.
idea?
I mean, it's very fitting.
I have
I feel
some
like it sums up
concerns.
your relationship perfectly.
The other one
like-
could be Asian.
Asian! Love it!
Oh god.
We're gonna have to workshop this, aren't we?
Why do I talk to any of you?
We're gonna have to workshop this.
For this exact reason.
Yeah, it's true. I
For
do.
this
I
exact
love you
reason.
guys so much.
Okay, we'll dive in then. So our last session saw all of you at the house of Onyx's mother, Darja. She was understandably pretty devastated by the disappearance of her beloved wife, Bianca. And so you all set immediately to work in helping her uncover Bianca's fate. With some help from Bianca's diary and an old myth about a monstrous spidery transformation, you began to unravel this odd web of clues. At the very moment that Callista began a ritual to find out if the conclusions that you'd kind of drawn were correct, Kumi and Eva spotted a very small spider scuttling its way towards the door. I believe you affectionately named it Julio. Was it Julio?
Julio.
Was Julio.
Yeah. Some quick thinking from Eva had her kind of chasing after it, shooting spidery questions. You all watched as this Kenku perfectly mimicked the sound of a spider speech. And they're just having a conversation, apparently. And you received some very limited answers, but you did get answers. Meanwhile, your visions, Callista, led you to once more examine the very dream that brought you here. And you noticed an odd thing about that seaweed that always hangs in all of them. It always replaces something real. You looked up to the treetops and were greeted with webs. Thousands and thousands of them forming a sort of strange trail that led south. Not to the legendary spider queen Arasta, perhaps, but somewhere else. I think we can safely describe what happened during the rest of last week's session as shenanigans. There was an attempt to replicate the famous scene from Dirty Dancing, and it went very poorly. Very, very poorly indeed. The desperation to reach the mind of one heroic little spider was quite something. The dedication was just, I can never ever, I admire your dedication, that's for sure. And it was something to behold. And of course, Astrea could not resist going to see and mentally torture her least favourite mentor, and dare I say, everyone's favourite romantic prospect for her. One more time. But then you were all on your way, following the spiders. Cue that Ron Weasley gif. And you followed their webs to where we now begin our session. So you arrive at the banks of the River Spurch, which, by the way, hate that name, River Spurch. I could have changed it, but I didn't, and now we're here. Well outside of the Tessin borders and into the wilder, more dangerous part of the forest, you have stumbled upon a cavern of some sort. And it looks like a natural cavern, but it's definitely had some human interference. The path that led up to it became less wild and dirty, and there were actual wooden planks constructed along the path, and sort of led onto a pier, definitely a man-made pier with some sort of barrels and crates and things. There were padlocked doors, there were torch sconces, so very much human oriented. This place has had some kind of human interference, or humanoid interference, I should say. The webs led through the roof of the cavern. You all entered from a different direction, especially Eva, very different direction. Eva went swimming. That was another shenanigan that I failed to mention before. And you've all found it to be very dark and flooded. And that's sort of about where we left off. So let me just bring up this here map just to kind of see where you all are. So currently, Eva, you have kind of come in, and as you've swum into this area, it's very strange how quickly it became very shallow to the point of being ankle deep. The area that you swum into, that sort of narrow corridor, was on a quite sharp incline. And so you've kind of come up to this area where you are now. You are no longer submerged in the water, but you are kind of up against the cavern wall and very much in what little darkness remains after Onyx cast light on Kalyuka's weapon, so that Kalyuka could have some form of vision, because unlike the rest of you with dark vision, I was going through and I was like, oh great, everyone picked a race with dark vision. Oh no, not quite everyone. Yeah. So currently, Kalyuka is sort of holding up a lit up weapon, squinting in the darkness, while the rest of you can kind of look around easily. For the most part, what you all see is sort of just corridors of this sort of ankle deep water. You hear the faint dripping of, as you do in sort of damp caves, as it were. And Eva, from Eva's direction, you especially can hear the sound of rushing water coming from the west of the map, or to your left on your screen. Meanwhile, the rest of you can just barely hear that. It is quite loud because it would echo kind of around the cave, so there's not really anyone that couldn't hear it, as it were. Astrea, you have the furthest sight, I believe.
120 feet, perfect.
120 feet. What you
Yes.
can see, I think,
and I can see color. That makes a difference.
You can see color as well.
It says perfectly nice for darkness, including magical darkness. Thank goodness.
Okay. Okay. I thought it was 120 feet dark vision.
It's you can see perfectly. I think just in it's like the fucking double sight thing from the Warlock Invocations.
Let me have a quick look.
All right, please hold.
Devil sight. You can see. Oh, yeah, you can see normally in darkness.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so then actually that does change things up a little bit for you, I think.
Love to take a feat in
currently...
order to get. Love to take a feat in order to get a class feature.
So to a distance of 120 feet, you can just see normally. It's as if you're in the daytime. Okay, well that does change things. So let's just see. What I have also done, and you won't notice this now quite so much, Astrea, but probably for the rest of you, is I've made it a little clearer, I think. Kind of, this is more for Eva's sake than anything. The boundary from where the light is emanating from Kalyuka, you should be able to see like a divide between what is bright light and what is dim light around her. So there's kind of like, I don't know if you can all see that.
Yeah, I can see the border.
That is kind of flickering is bright light, and then beyond that there is dim light, but it will be dim light for you if it is dim light that you need, Eva. But I'm happy to tell you at certain points, if anything, where to stand and things like that if you want to be in dim light / darkness. Okay, yes, so you can absolutely see very well then, Astrea, is what I was going to say. And in the very faint distance to the north, and I mean very faint distance, you can just about see a globe of a sort of whitish blue light, but you are far too far away to make out anything about what it could be. But it is an odd color. It doesn't look like the color of sort of outdoors or anything like that, like natural light. It is something is kind of glowing, but that is very far away and you can only just sort of see it. The rest of you are confined to dark vision / the light that you have around you. What would you like to do?
Were we in initiative order?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, you're not in initiative order. If it makes things easier, I can, but it's more, for me, it's more maybe about just discussion about where you want to go. You kind of come into this space, you can see, I think all of you can probably just, Eva, is it darkness that you have to be stood in to be gone?
You are muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, I'm really bad at that. No, so it's anyone who relies on dark vision to see me, can't see me in darkness.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
So they can't see you in darkness at all.
Yep.
Cool.
And no, this is a weird
so
question. How does that interact with Devil's Sight?
You're
So
not relying
I
on dark
think
vision.
You're not
so I
relying on darkness, so you can
Okay.
perfectly see
Okay.
Eva
But I wouldn't be able to.
from where you are.
Okay.
The rest of you cannot see Eva at all because she is not until she steps into the light. So even if it's that dim light area, you would be able to dimly see her because you're then relying on the light rather than the dark vision to kind of light her up. But while she's standing in darkness, even if you're standing in their sort of dark vision range, as it were, they cannot see you if it's dark where you're standing.
Y'all can kind of see Estrella kind of like squinting off to the north. Do any of you see that light? It looks like it's coming from further in.
None of the rest of you see that light.
Eva's gonna.
Don't know what
shake
you're
her
talking
little
about.
Okay. Does anybody mind if I take 10 minutes? I just kind of want to have some kind of magical sense up just so I can find it cool. Estrella's gonna take 10 minutes to ritual cast detect magic.
While she's doing that, I am going to get the Bianca's notebook out and flip through it and see if there's anything that would mention something like this place or that has any further clues about like if this trail that we're on would be leading us towards her.
Sure. Yes. In answer, so it's the diary that you're reading, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. You kind of flip through, and you do stumble upon, just as Eva did, a couple of passages that talk about Bianca having strange dreams. In those dreams, she is walking through a sort of cavern with endless corridors, is how she describes it. And they are flooded. It kind of, I mean, caverns are caverns, right? But it
Right.
does sort of invoke the same feeling. And I would say that it gives you kind of that like almost reassuring feel that you must be on the right path.
Okay.
This place just kind of evokes exactly the same imagery as what she has written. I would say you definitely get the feeling that the place that she's written about is the same place that you are right now.
So when I see the passages that talk about it being flooded, do I sense that it's meant in a literal way and that like literally water was filling it up, or in a like figurative way in that like it was wet and soggy through these places?
I think figurative way. She's just sort of talking about very like damp corridors.
Gotcha.
She kind of talks about them being flooded, as in like she's wading a little bit through water, like.
Gotcha.
But it's not like, oh, it's filling up with water.
A good moist tunnel.
More like
Moist.
a moist tunnel. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Boy, we're here already. We are 20 minutes in. And we're talking about moist tunnels. Okay.
Look, we already talked about Castraya, so
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we going to lead Castraya to the moist tunnel? Is that what's going on?
not today. We're not.
Well, and
Shout
I
out
think
to Sarah,
Callista-
our producer, whose job is to help us through this stream and to listen to our shit.
Look, all I'm saying
Callista is going to.
"Can they protect you?" is very annoying and cute.
You know, Callista, while Estrella is richly casting her detect magic, is looking around almost a little frantically for Eva because she can't see her. And she knows it's probably not going to work, but at first she's going to try to send her a message in her head and just be like, Eva, are you here? I don't want us to get separated. And if she gets back the static again.
So, you know what? This kind of almost works in your favor a little bit. As you reach out to try to broach Eva's mind that has never worked for you before, you do get a faint sense of that kind of frustrating static to your left, or left on the screen, I would say.
Okay.
Sort of to the west. You sense that she's here. You can't at all pinpoint where exactly, but you know that she's kind of in the vicinity. Sure, she's not kind of buggered off back to Setessa and left you all.
Knowing that
much you're certain of.
Callista will kind of take a few steps that way and kind of very quietly trying to just whisper out loud but not make too much noise. Eva, are you there? I don't want us to get separated. Eva
is going to quack like a duck.
So you are walking. I've just moved you a few steps. Okay, literally like 2 or 3 steps to your left, and you get right next to Eva. I imagine that you get right next to Eva, and then you just hear this like in your ear.
Callista probably jumps up and screams a little bit.
That was
Estrella just like freezes, like mid ritual, and she's like,
you're pretty sure that something sounded a bit like a duck in here. Is there a duck in here? This doesn't seem like the correct home for a duck. But yeah, and that kind of like quack does kind of echo around a little bit, as does Callista's scream. But
I think if Onyx notices this, she kind of looks up and like, I feel like Onyx and Iva have a routine for this because it probably happened a lot when they were traveling together, and Onyx just looks up and goes,
I am in love with the idea of the two of you just mimicking various birds at each other. Yes, so the two of you just start like mimicking bird noises at each other. Astray is very distracting as you're trying to.
Yeah, it was just are you over here? And yeah, right over here.
You just hear Estrella muttering like, "Don't take silence," they said. It doesn't matter, they said.
We don't need silence, they said. Imagine. Yeah. So, is there anything else that anyone wants to do? And I will just kind of give you a brief thing. Eva, you've got the next sort of best vision, I would say. So from where you're standing, you can see that this water, the sound of that rushing, you can briefly see like a disturbance in a sort of larger pool of water just to your just to the west. And it seems to not be big enough that it's like a waterfall. It could just be coming from like a pipe or something along those lines. And then further on, you can see a sort of long, narrow corridor with torch sconce kind of on the side. But you can't really see kind of beyond that. To the east, you just kind of see your friends, and then again, just another sort of corridor. If I just remind myself, yeah.
So I am going to, sorry, I don't know why I did that. I'm gonna kind of scurry kitty corner to where I am to go and explore the pipe and where the noise is coming from. So I'm gonna go.
Sure thing.
Let's resist the urge to strangle her.
Yeah, and if anyone looking, because I'm going to be going through light, they'll just see a little black thing go skitty, skitty, skitty across the water to the other corner.
I'm not going to lie. Eva, you're very, very quickly becoming the stuff of nightmares for Callista. Like, Eva, I don't want us to get separated. You just quacked in her ear and then scuttled like a little demon through the light to the other side, and then she's gone again. Callista, it is horrifying. Just the effect that she can have on you. This sort of like teeny tiny duck raven monster just kind of scurries through the light, and you're like, okay, good, yep, she's here, cool.
In a cloak. She's wearing a nice black cloak as well, so
yeah, she does. She has a lovely fine looking cloak on. Yeah, as you get to this area, again, it's still quite dark for you. It's kind of all like grays and blacks, but you can see that the water is indeed coming from a sort of pipe. There is another sort of like path of water leading north, and then there does appear to be a path heading right, like continuing on basically to the west.
Can I investigate the little area here to see if I can see signs of like animals moving or things being here?
Sure. Roll a survival check for me.
Okay. Go to my skills and go down to survival. Oh, yay. That's a good number. Well, let's see when yeah, 23.
It's all right.
It's okay.
It's passable.
It's not the
23,
31
I
I
mean-
got the one time.
Yeah, that's not 31. It could have been better, to be honest. I'm
Yeah.
most disappointed. But anyway,
Hey, at least it wasn't
23.
a 25.
I guess you could get something from a 23. So the water seems to be running south, as it were. So all of these kind of like rivets of water that are coming out, they are all leading out onto what you know to be the river beyond. Even where these pipes are coming, it's all just kind of pooling in certain areas, and this is most likely due to kind of the natural cavern floor is kind of dipping, and as you kind of walked across into this pipe area, you can see that this pool of water where the pipe is overflowing is deeper. It's probably going to be like shin length. It's not terrible, but it's deeper than sort of the other areas. As for animals, with that you can definitely see the usual suspects that you might find, sort of the odd little bit of like rat droppings, or signs of kind of like maybe bats have been here. Though looking around, you don't actually see any animals currently. You do see webs, spider webs, here, there, and everywhere, but they look normal to you. I wouldn't have said that they strike you as odd in any way. They look like some small spider webs belonging to small spiders, which is perfectly normal in a dank, dark cavern such as this, in a moist tunnel.
Oh,
such
now
as
it's
this.
dank too. Now it's dank.
It's
okay.
dank. But yeah, you would see what you consider to be natural signs of sort of cave inhabiting animals, but nothing currently that seems odd. You actually, you know what? You got 23. You would see little rat paw prints heading to the east.
So that way, towards the group?
Yeah, in the direction of the group.
Okay, I'll leave my investigation there for now and let someone else do stuff.
Kalyuka would like to, I think, just to kind of have a look around and be ready for anything that might ambush us or might lead to something bigger. She is just gonna like, as slowly as possible, without really. Oh wait, how can I remove the scale? There. So she's going to make her way up here and just kind of open up her sort of magical awareness to about a 60-foot radius around her to see if there's any presence of maybe like a magical entity or an item. And I'm also going to make keep a lookout for maybe the shimmer of any spider webs around leading anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So roll a perception check, or a survival check. Your preference for the spider webs.
That's a 22 on perception.
Lovely. Okay. 22 on perception. That's pretty good. Yes, you would see spider webs for sure. They're kind of built up everywhere, but you see, I would say probably more of them in the corridor leading north and in the corridor leading east. So where that kind of pool of water is, there's more of them, but they are everywhere. They are in all corridors. As for your magical awareness is out to a range of how much?
60
feet. You would, I'm just gonna real quick check my notes, just bear with 1 moment.
I think it's like anything that's not behind total cover, so anything within sight probably.
Yeah.
And
even if I can't see it, I would be able to sense it, and just to learn the school of magic, basically.
Cool. You don't sense anything magical currently. How long does your magical awareness last for, may I ask? Is it just a momentary thing, or?
Yeah, it's only for 6 seconds, I'd say, because it's the end of the next turn. So 6 to 12 seconds would probably be it.
At this moment, you feel nothing, no magical presence at all. But you don't feel the magical presence of any entity either right now.
Okay.
And that goes back to Estrella real quick with your detect magic. And detect magic is out to how much?
It's 30 feet, concentration up to 10 minutes. So Estrella would probably, once she's finished ritual casting, request that we start moving north, just so that I can have kind of like a magical dowsing rod so we can see what's going on, where things are. The most important thing is it can be blocked by a foot of stone, an inch of metal, 3 feet of wood or dirt, or any amount of lead. So if, all right. I don't know how thick the walls are, but if they're thicker than a foot, then it's pretty much just kind of like a enter a room, see what I see kind of deal.
Cool. There is something that I did forget to mention to Eva.
Why do you hate us?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. I could have not said it. Wow.
I love you.
I guess Australia's dying today. No, it's fine. Eva, I just realized where you are in relation to my map. Something you would have found. So you found lots of animal shenanigans. But nothing really concrete. But something that you would notice is, with that roll, is footsteps. Like there's sort of like where the water is kind of slightly, it's kind of like lapping onto the kind of ground around it. The ground is obviously quite moist. I mean, it is. So. Clearly, like where somebody has been walking here and it has just slightly sunk into the mud and left a small imprint. They're not like very regular, but they are going in the direction of that western tunnel. So they're sort of down this, where your little pointer is. Can you see mine?
Yeah.
for some reason I didn't think about the fact that you'd all be able to see where my cursor is as well. That's amazing to me. Here in this corridor, you would see it's not regular, right? So it's not like you can see a clear set of footsteps, but you can just see like the slight imprint of a heel, like a heel print or something. Not very fresh, but maybe with definitely recent enough that it's within the last kind of month or so that this has happened. But there's that, and I just suddenly realized, and I was like, okay, that's quite important. I should probably let them know that.
It's fine. So Eva is going to sort of talk back to the rest of the group and sort of like a whisper shout. I mean, she's a master of whispers, and she's just going to say,
a
footprints.
whisper shout.
Yes. you know them when you hear them. They're kind of like footprints.
Okay. So Eva really falling into the role of some kind of like demon queen over here. Terrifying entity, maybe more terrifying than whatever is in this tunnel. You hear that kind of like whisper shout. It is a whisper, but it's very loud and it kind of echoes around the place. And is the word kind of carried on the air is footprints. You recognize it to be Eva's voice. And it's coming from the left. So it's coming from here.
Stray just kind of like finishes her ritual, looks over. You all are so lucky that the ritual is finally done.
Yeah, because as you try to finish up your ritual and you just kind of like almost drop your components, is this kind of like loud whisper carried on the air, but it just kind of finishes up. Your awareness expands out. You don't really sense anything magical currently in your sort of bubble, as it were, but there is that light ahead of you. You know now that there is some footprints that are leading kind of in Eva's general direction, which you know exactly where she is because you can see perfectly fine.
Well, having heard that about the footprints, can Callista see any footprints going in the tunnel up to the north?
Same.
Roll perception or survival, both of you.
Ooh. Can I give her advantage by assisting?
By existing.
Assisting.
I genuinely thought you said I exist, so does she get advantage for that? And I was like,
no.
I will kill your character by the end of this if this is the kind of benefits that your character.
Okay, but like then you have to deal with the Castrea shippers.
Yeah,
although it would be a very sad scene. Everyone's just like, yeah,
hordes of fans.
It's like, yeah, your student died, and he's just like, so he just starts crying. And he's like, that was my last chance to become a real knight.
I don't think Callista
you don't know. I won't try to
need the advantage.
Yes, you absolutely can take advantage if you want to. I didn't even answer the question. Yeah.
Well, I rolled a 26 and a 27, so 27.
Amazing.
Chump
That
change,
advantage
really.
was. I picked that being Callista having a look around. You see, with that, you would see there are some sort of footprints. They're a little bit further ahead, but they are kind of leading down that corridor. They're older though, and they look like they've been there's footprints going that way and coming back in the same direction. And just as you're kind of analyzing them, Callista, I then anticipate Astrea going, "Oh, hey, did you see the?" And you're like, "Yep, saw it. Thank you." So
Okay.
yeah, there are footprints going to the north. They're a bit older. They're kind of moving. There's a few more of them, but heading either direction. There's that strong set as well. So
Well, Callista's thinking this cave is kind of creepy, so she's gonna kind of yell back to Eva to come on, get with the party, and let's move forward so we can
Yeah, I
find
agree.
out what we need and get out of here.
I have 10 minutes of my magical sense, so if we can move fairly quickly, especially moving toward that weird light. I don't know if any of you can see it yet, as I try to point it out. But
I love it. None
I
of
would
you
like
can see it.
I would like to try and get a little bit closer to it, so I can get an idea of what magic is.
What it is.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. So are you just going to start heading down that way then?
Yes, very slowly. Also, very
Are we
specifically listening
going
for things
slowly,
like splashes.
stealthily?
Yes.
Are we doing stealth? Okay. I would
Let's
like
do it.
everyone who is heading that way to make stealth checks for me, please.
Also, keeping an ear
Yes.
out for like splashing sounds of life.
So I see people going down here. When I look down this way towards this pipe, is this a pipe that I could potentially jump over?
Oh, let me just have a quick look where you are. 1 second.
I rolled a
I have
3.
lost you.
Yeah,
Oh, there
Callista
you are.
doesn't feel so bad now
Um,
about her stealth roll.
Do you know what? With either an athletics or an acrobatics check,
Sweet.
yes, I
I'm
will
going
allow
that way.
you to attempt it.
Okay. So either acrobatics or
Acrobatics or athletics, yeah.
they're both. Wait. Yes. Ooh, one I have.
Oh no!
No.
It's
Oh,
still
that no. Can I use my Kenku recall?
Really?
1 second. 1 second. Get out of the way. Ah. Yeah, I'm gonna use my Kenku recall to give myself advantage on that and try again because that was real bad.
Just that slightly grazed your knee. Look around. No one saw.
But no one
Was
saw.
it? I don't know if it's worth it to try to be better
Wow.
at the stealth check because I got a 3. So
I mean, I
It
think
kind
it's. I mean, I think it's fun, like narrative wise, for something to happen. So I say go with it.
I got a
Okay,
10.
what was the athletics or acrobatics? Okay, 10. You do succeed in getting over that pipe with some difficulty.
Not graceful.
It's not graceful. It's not the cool like Assassin's Creed moment that you were hoping for. And it does make a lot of noise, a lot of clunking. It's a very loud pipe. It's one of those ones that when you like stand on it, it like echoes. You know, it's just like like, and it lets out that really low vibration. And then you hop off the other side and toss yourself down, and oh, never doing that again. And
Nope, that was bad.
that is bad. Could have just walked around, but nope. Okay, so I want to hear what everyone got for their stealth checks, please. So I know already that Joan got a 3, so we're off to a cracking start.
Yeah, Callista got a
I'm
10.
assuming after what I just did, I can't also roll a stealth check.
I will allow you to roll a stealth check to catch up. Are you going to catch up with the party, or are you kind of going your own way?
I'm my own way. I do my
Going
thing.
your own way. Well, you can try to do stealth now. Obviously, if something was like tracking you, it would know something is around that area now because that was very loud. But you could attempt to stealth to continue. So, Jen, what did you get for stealth?
12.
12 for Jen. Lulu?
And
10. Okay.
yeah, we're not a very stealthy bunch.
I got a 15.
What word? Triggered the mod check. What?
Okay. And then the 3 from Joan. And come on, Eva. You got this.
12.
Wow. I really did not expect it
Right.
to excel at strength as like stealth, right?
Yep.
Okay, well I'll tell
It's a
you
12.
exactly how this goes down.
Yep.
So Kaliuka, you were already kind of a little bit ahead. You're stealthing along, you know there could be something in these tunnels. We need to keep quiet. Let's just kind of kill. You can hear like shout whispering behind you, which is making you like it's not quiet, but you're kind of continuing. And then you kind of hear Estrella just like, okay, if we can quietly make our way up this corridor in a very matter-of-fact, not quite so quiet way. And with it is slightly above average what you got. So I would say you're just kind of walking normally. It's not like you're making a lot of noise. But you are, not being as careful as perhaps you could be. And so there is some splashing behind you, Kayuki. You can hear them coming. Then you just hear the stompiest splashing that you ever did hear as Onyx kind of just barrels up to you.
Oh.
And yeah, any chance of there being stealthy cover, you're aware it's pretty much blown, probably.
What?
But
Guys!
somebody say footsteps!
Straya stops in her
this is-
tracks, takes a deep breath, and continues onward.
I see
Yep.
something
That
up
is
ahead
pretty much
over
the
here.
energy.
When I see something over at the corner, what is it that I can just see from a bit of a view that I get? Like here, essentially.
Yes. So let's kind of move you up to the next area, I guess, as you make your way, and all of you feel free to kind of follow. So you've kind of entered this room. I've got an official description here, as it were, which I believe my laptop is being just ever so slightly jerky, so bear with me. Okay. So, in this room, the water is a little deeper.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of looking probably at almost up to your knees. So it is kind of a bit of wading going on as well, which doesn't really help with the stealth situation at this point. The room there's in the ceiling, there's kind of cracks and holes. And there is sunlight sort of filtering through. It is here that you can see some spiders, and they are you realize as you've kind of made your way up this corridor that you have seen some kind of going in the opposite direction. Back down the way that you came and sort of to the left, like they're everywhere. Like I said, there's no real like sense of purpose or direction, but perhaps there are more heading down the corridor that you came, and then sort of to the east side. There are also a few spiders scuttling towards the east in this room.
Got it.
Yeah.
I kind of like Kalita lifts a morning star up above her so that the light kind of just can be seen from the end of the corridor as well.
Mm-hmm.
And all the way up to Onyx, and just kind of like a sort of traffic signal almost kind of just shows like take a right, and I'm going to
So those little alcoves that you can see, there's plenty of like plant life there as well because there's sunlight and there's lots of water. And the temperature down here is not like very cold or very warm. So they seem to be pretty good conditions for plants to grow. And so you kind of notice that in these like little areas where the cracks are in the ceiling and the sunlight is kind of filtering in, there is plants growing. I've tried to create an animation that makes it look like a dappling on the water, but I think it kind of just looks like mist.
No,
but it's supposed
it
to be
looks fine. It
looks
dappled water.
Is there any ping on my detect magic at all as I head into the room?
Let's have a little look.
I'm actually going to scoot over here.
Remind me of the
30 feet.
so when you
30
when
feet
you
can be blocked by
stand-
stone, wood, lead, metal of various thicknesses. Girths, if you will.
when you stand there, you don't really.
Okay, I'll take
don't
the
really-
80 psychic damage.
It wouldn't be 80, but it's getting there. It's going up. I'm running a tally in my
Okay,
head, and I'll give it to you at the end of the session,
Okay.
and that's where we'll cliffhanger off from. As you just immediately drop dead. But so you don't really detect anything massively magical. You do, however, sort of standing there, see at the end of that corridor is a door. And this door is a sort of, it looks to be kind of carved in, and it is made of like stone. It is made of rock, and it is locked. And the lock on it looks pretty. It looks pretty well locked, whereas the one that you kind of kicked your way into at the start was quite easily overcome. This one is going to require a little bit more specialism, I think.
Finesse.
Finesse, that's the perfect word for it.
Okay, so I will point out that there is a door, but I would, if possible, I would like to check out this door. But if you all don't mind, perhaps we should take a look further north first, just so I can get a ping on my magical senses. Try and get an idea of what that thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay with you all?
Yeah, no, and Callista, she's like, I've been practicing how to pick locks. I'm not very good yet, but I'm happy to try to pick the lock if you think we need to go in there.
Okay. And I also
You do have some as well.
On my travels, I did
that
pick
Jericho gave
up. God gave me a scroll of knock, which is now in my spell book. So, worst case, I can always magic it open.
Oh, you're just trying to make up for it, aren't you? You're trying to undo some of that psychic damage.
Oh no, my goal is to get as high as possible. Like, I mean, I'm gonna stop talking.
Well,
I would.
Melissa,
Okay.
I can, maybe stay with you here, ensure that there's no trouble that comes. But maybe both of us go down here to open this door, and Onyx, and she kind of like looks over to see where Onyx is and says, "Will you go with Astrea? Maybe you're there. And if you see any danger, let's just come back here and meet."
I think that it may be a good idea for all of us to go because I see a weird cocoon thing.
Oh,
And I
okay.
don't
Yeah.
know that I want to approach it with less than our full group.
That makes sense.
So you can see it a bit better now. You're much closer to it than you were before. It is orb shaped and it is glowing. It's kind of emitting its own glow, and it is wrapped in webs, spider webs. You can see that much. Eva, I have lost you completely. Whereabouts are you? Can you
Yes,
hold your little mouse over
before
where
I
you
wanted
are?
to go join the group, there's a door right here, and I wanted Eva to just kind of like go up to it, try to like just open it slightly so she can peek in.
Okay, let me have a look. Yes, it is locked. So you do not have thieves' tools, do you?
I don't think I took any of my starting equipment, so probably not.
I think. Oh, as a ranger, do you get thieves' tools?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't think so. Whoops.
I don't know.
I don't know why I'm saying whoops. Ranger.
Callista has a set, but she doesn't know that Onyx or that Eva needs them.
Ranger does not start with thieves' tools.
Yep, there we go. So no, I don't have anything. So she's gonna try and open that door. It doesn't work. She's gonna sort of
locked,
like
quietly
grumble to herself, and then
I think she would know though that because I would assume that Onyx had gotten some thieves' tools at some point along the travel since she became a rogue.
Them to your inventory, so she would know that Onyx has a set.
Yep. So not having them, she's gonna kind of grumble and then go to find Onyx.
Just sneak up behind Onyx like, these tools! Okay, so you are heading in the general direction. And it's not really that hard to find your group. They are making quite the racket a little further up. So you find them with relative ease, to be quite honest. Estrella, you look back down to kind of the south and you can see Eva is just kind of making her way. In that way that people do, and she's trying to be sneaky because she doesn't know that you can see her. So she's like walking along like stealthing, and it's actually quite funny.
She's doing Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah. It's quite funny watching her.
Got his own theme music too.
Yep.
Yes. Are you going to go up to where the group are proper, or are you kind of just trying to catch Onyx's attention from where you are, Ema?
She's going to try and get Onyx's attention. So she'll kind of step into the light so she knows that Onyx can see her, and then just kind of like flail her wings a little bit and then like make a motion in her hand like she's holding a key into a lock and like turning it and then opening a door. She's going to charades it.
Okay, I think that is it Eva or Iva?
Eva.
Okay, I think that Onyx and Eva have a rapport with this so far. So Onyx is like, "Oh, okay, yeah," and she just fishes in her bag and like tosses them. Unless
okay.
Unless
so you're going to toss them out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you might need Onyx to use them because you don't have proficiency, or unless you were going to use. Can Kenku Recall give you proficiency with thieves' tools?
No.
Okay.
No.
Then in that case, she's going to go fish the thieves' tools out of the water where they splooshed, and follow Eva to where she needs to go.
And if Callista saw all that, she would definitely tag along because she's really anxious to use her new roguelike skills that she's really not very good at, but she's more than happy to try.
Eva's gonna look at everyone who's not coming and just kind of be like, "Be right back," and then usher the rest of them to follow.
You turn around and say, "I would really rather we have the full might of our group heading towards this," and you just watch as like most of the group are heading back in the other way.
So here's the thing. Estrella is very focused on this orb, so I'm just going to roll a quick check to see if she even notices.
Uh-oh.
She doesn't
Where's your
notice.
Perception? She doesn't notice. Okay, so
it was a 6.
I think we should
you rolled a
head
25, didn't you? No.
I think we should all head this way. You begin to walk and you assume that you're being followed, and you head towards this orb. You kind of go past this sort of is another pipe with like sort of water rushing out of it, and there's sort of planks of wood. The place is looking pretty disused. And remind me again of your passive perception while you're in this little area here.
It's a 17, and the intention right now is to get within 30 feet of that thing. So that would be the edge of the room. So I would end up here, assuming nothing killed me first.
Perfect.
Oh,
So
good.
you
I
would
don't like
cross
it when
kind of
GMs say perfect when I tell them
you
about my
balance across. No, you're good. You balance across these kind of planks of wood. As you do notice something metallic glinting in the water. Now it's like right next to where you are. It's actually just pictured there. There is a sort of set of keys, sort of sitting in the water.
Okay.
And then 30 feet of the thing.
So Estrella kind of like. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go.
Okay, so Estrella kind of like bends down to first make sure there's nothing in the water around the keys before reaching down to take the keys, assuming there is nothing, and turns to be like, I found some. And just stops.
I found some. Hello. For all you know, they're all just been dragged off by some entity.
Well, I was gonna say
that little perception.
I was gonna say Eva would have like started to go the other way, but then noticed Estrella like going off, and she just kind of like is gonna look slightly concerned for a second, and then turn to the rest of the group following her, and just kind of shoo them back over to Estrella, and she'll follow after them. Like, what we were about to do wasn't important. Let's go after Estrella. And she's going to shoo them off towards her.
You just see her kind of like elbow deep in the water.
She's just kind of like leaned down. You kind of plunge your hand into the water. It's quite cold. And for a second, you feel something kind of slide past your fingers. And it's like slimy. And you're like, ah! and then you realize it's just seaweed, or some kind of plant.
Truly, the quintessential experience of being in water.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
seaweed.
You're just like wading into the sea, and then you just feel, ugh. Anyway, so you pick up this set of slightly rusty. They've been in the water a little while. It seems slightly rusty-looking keys. There's a few on the chain. And then you turn your attention back to this orb, which you, I believe, all can now see, glowing ahead of you. Yes, you can all see it. It's glowing quite brightly. It is sort of cocooned in these webs around it, and it's giving off this very faint sort of luminous light.
Luminescent.
Is it a magical light, or does it appear to be kind of like a bioluminescence?
I would say more bioluminescence. It's not giving off a magical energy in that someone has cast a spell on this thing.
Right.
Okay. It is giving off a sort of natural, and you would probably recognize it. It might even be derived. A lot of people would assume it would be derived of the Nyx when creatures, even sort of natural capabilities from creatures, if they have some kind of magic, any magic is attributed to it being like Nyx born. So this feels that. This feels natural, it feels biological, it does not feel like it has been interfered with in terms of someone casting a spell on the thing.
Is there any sort of shape to the cocoon aside from an orb, any kind of visible indication of what could be inside, as I kind of scoot a little bit closer to my regret? Oh, there's more.
A little bit closer? Yeah. So as you kind of head over towards this,
I'm keeping an eye out, especially on the ceiling. I'm keeping an eye on the ceiling. I know no one ever looks up.
On the ceiling.
I'm looking up.
Do you know what? You seem a bit nervous. Are you nervous? Are you okay? It's fine. You walk towards this cocooned orb, and as you sort of get round the corner, you can see a couple more. You're a little bit closer now. Roll nature or I will go with, roll nature for me. Anyone with proficient with nature or survival?
18.
What did you get?
Can I
Sorry, Jen?
roll a religion check on the justification that I'm a paladin of Nilia? And she knows about shit like giant glowing spider eggs.
I'm not sure that being a paladin of Nilia necessarily gives you like the access to that information. So if you're proficient with survival or nature, roll please.
I'll roll the
so what did you
survival.
get, Jen?
18.
Callista got a
18.
22.
I got not
Okay.
good. My dice are not being nice to me.
Not even a 25 from any of us. Jeez, pathetic.
Hold on. My die is still
All of
very
you.
ponderously rolling across the D&D Beyond screen. I got an 8.
Honestly.
Truly sad. No 25s.
Nilia is punishing you for your impertinence at your the entitlement, the sense of entitlement that you had. I'm a paladin in Nilia. I should know about anything nature. She's punishing you now.
Now you've forgotten everything.
The rest of you, you realize now what these are. These are eggs. They are spider eggs.
Oh, that's not creepy at all.
No, it's
So-
absolutely fine.
What's the general consensus of what is the certificate for dealing with macroarachnids? I'm just gonna call them macroarachnids because they're big spiders. That's so funny. What's
Backwards.
like? Are they considered to be a threat, or are they generally left alone to do their own thing?
I mean, they are considered a part of nature.
Mm-hmm.
So macroarachnid.
Wait, would that be
The
a
horror.
religion check? Like, would I know? No, for real though.
I think that you.
Would Onyx have insight into what Nilia's opinion of spiders is?
Nilia's opinion of, yes, you would. Nilia's opinion of any wild animal is that essentially she is the goddess of the hunt, but she is also the deity of protecting wildlife. So her kind of deal when it comes to wild animals is no unnecessary hunting, no hunting for sport or for profit. If you were coming in here seeking spider eggs to sell them because they're worth a certain amount of money, Nilia would disapprove. If you come in here and are seeking a missing person and a spider attacks you, in Nilia's eyes, you're defending yourself. It's a different thing. There's an understanding of these are wild animals, these are wild creatures, and they must be protected. And there is a certain amount of hunt in that. There's the respect to the food chain and everything like that. Something always hunts something. But the thing that really gets Nilia's goat is hunting for unnecessarily, for pleasure, for sport, for profit, for things that she doesn't consider natural, because she is very much about wilderness,
Circle of life.
over civilization.
Circle of life.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
she's
And I know she
against
doesn't super love
civilization.
farming either, but
Yeah.
kind of tolerates it.
Nope. So it's an interesting relationship. Actually, Satessa itself is a really interesting city. It is a city dedicated to Karametra. It works with and around its surroundings. The buildings are built around the trees. There is no, apart from minor things, real like farming of materials and things beyond like what nature would give freely. And so, for example, trees they would use would be like trees that are dead, or they're very careful about those things. They're dedicated to Karametra, who is the goddess of agriculture, farming, harvest, and in a lot of ways nature as well, but kind of like the human side of nature. It's husbandry, it's those kind of things. And Nilia and Karametra, as a result, have a very strange, strained relationship. They are sisters in that they are both nature deities, and both very well respected in Setessa. But Karametra is definitely the sister that tries harder, and I would say that Nilia is like the moody sister that is like, but she disapproves of agriculture and things like that. So you would have had a really interesting, outlook on the way that Setessans live as you've grown up. Obviously, they're your family, and this is the city that saved you and has looked after you and everything like that. But being a champion of Nilia means that there are certain elements of what they do that might irk you a little, because their focus is more on Karametra and the agricultural side of things. But Karametra is fond of Nilia, and views her as a sister, and is very specific. In my city, there will be shrines to Nilia. We must respect nature. We must try to appease Nilia. But she's trying. Essentially, Karametra is trying to offer like a compromise in a way, and in some ways, Nilia kind of accepts it, but in other ways, there's still a little bit an edge of resentment there.
Got it. I think.
Yeah, I'm making sense.
Yeah, for sure. I think Onyx basically kind of just tells everybody, like, first of all, I'm assuming that those who realized that it was a spider egg told those of us who are dumb as doorknobs.
Yeah. I would have been like, these appear to be spider eggs. Onyx, I don't necessarily see a need to bother them unless we need to. What do you think?
We should leave them be unless we get attacked. I don't see any reason to fuss with it. And in fact, I think it probably, if we do fuss with it, we will definitely get attacked.
I also found a key ring. I know there were some doors that we passed, but now that I'm seeing these are just egg sacs, perhaps we should go back and see where they go.
Sure.
One thing I wanted to do while everyone was sort of like talking, can Eva come up and like investigate the egg sac to see if there's actually like a spider in there, or if something else is inside of the egg waiting to hatch?
Kalika is gonna walk up to you and just like bend close to you and just like look at what you're doing and say, "Are you going to talk to another spider again? Ask them what's up."
Like
yes,
she's looking to see if there's baby spiders, or if possibly the people from town are actually in here and maybe getting transformed into spiders.
Roll an investigation check for me.
Okay. Come on, dice, stop doing what you're doing. There we go. That is a 20.
20. Okay, so you kind of come along, and as you kind of round the corner, you can see there's a few of these spider eggs, and you kind of peer in. It's difficult. They don't look like they are very close to hatching necessarily. This one in particular, you kind of look in, and you can see potentially what looks like the beginnings of a spider form inside. But that kind of line of questioning and the 20 I will give you, you then turn to kind of gaze at the others, and you realize there is one that is a little larger than the others. You head over towards it.
Yep. Ticka.
And it's kind of over here next to where Calliope is. And first of all, you see there are many more down this corridor. These messages that are coming up on chat, I I'm gonna start giving you disadvantage. I'm gonna start.
I think we should get
Um,
inspiration instead, but
and you peer into this one that is a little larger. And the thing that you notice actually is that some of them are sort of pulsing ever so slightly.
Gross.
It's a really disconcerting. It's disgusting as well. It's really disconcerting. And as you peer in, it's very what's the word? Translucent, almost opaque. But you can just about see the shadow of a humanoid figure inside.
All right, so Eva, in like what sounds like almost an old man's voice, so she obviously learned it from someone else, is just gonna kind of be like, shit. Like, shit. It's gonna sound like an old man, like she learned it from someone else.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
shit.
And with that, I'm sorry to jump this on our producer. I should have said something a little bit earlier, but maybe should we take a break? We're at almost 4:45.
I
Sarah,
just want
if you're about
the audience to know about the dank damp spegs.
Stra's damp dank
I
spags in the moist dripping Durkle tunnel.
I don't think that the audience needs to know about that at all.
He definitely did.
Okay, well,
we love you.
we'll go to break. Thank you so much for joining so far. We will be back probably in around 15 minutes or so. Bye. I never join in with the thing that everyone else is doing. I just start doing my own thing. We are back. We are back in the midst of the deep, dark, dank cave. Deep, dark, dank, moist tunnels. And
You said it this time.
I know. At this point, I feel like I just need to lean into it. But okay. So, you have just entered the underground tunnels. You can see that it's quite a labyrinth in here. There's a lot of different ways to go. There seems to be it's a natural cave. While you can see signs of human interference, as natural caves are, they're very windy. So there's a lot of places to explore. But you have found something. You found what appears to be spider eggs.
And keys.
Or for the most part, spider eggs. But there is one egg that Eva has found, which seems to contain something humanoid inside. The egg doesn't look close to hatching. Eva, as I mentioned before, it's very opaque, and you can only just barely see a shadow, but definitely this egg is quite a little bit bigger than the rest, and looks like it contains something. And I think that we kind of left off with a very old man. Oh shit. And yeah, so what would you like to do? I will leave it in any of your capable hands.
Eva, everything okay?
Humanoid inside.
Oh.
Oh, what?
Not spider.
I'm gonna go and take a look.
Same.
You go over and you have a look, and yep, you can all see this sort of very vague, shadowy humanoid shape inside this egg. Yes, Esther.
Is that also a humanoid shape that I see in the bottom? Like here? Is that you know?
I mean, it
What?
looks like rubble.
It looks like a skeleton
wait,
to
let
me.
me go from your. No, wait,
I can't
hold
see
on,
it.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, no,
Let me
yeah,
get-
no, it does.
Yeah,
look-
yeah, you can see a skeleton. Yes.
Oh yeah. That's
So
good.
like Estrella's kind of looking in and looking around and goes, oh, there's another one, but this one kind of like points down a dark tunnel.
I think in the meantime, Onyx is looking at the egg that Eva pointed out, and like, I think she's just gonna like, at first, push the membrane of the egg with one finger and see how, just the texture of it. Is it like thick and hard, or is it like soft
Thick,
and malleable?
jelly-like.
Okay.
Thick, jelly-like. There is a sort of shell. Let me just think. I think the best way of describing it would be like it kind of almost looks and feels, reacts like a putty. It's there is a shell, but it's not like a shell that it would crack if it was going to hatch, but it's not. It is like squishy. It's not like a kind of chicken's egg where it's just very hard and then it breaks. Like there is some squishiness to it. There is some give to it.
Is it kind of like those videos where you put an egg in vinegar overnight and then you take it out and it's like squishy?
Probably, yes.
Okay.
I can't say that I've sat there and watched videos like that, but most likely that's exactly what it feels like.
I think that. So Onyx is gonna say,
Which is what you would expect from a spider's egg, by the way.
right. I think I should try to cut this open. What do you all
Give me
think?
just a moment. I want to take a look at this body down here just to see if I can figure out. Wait approximately 6 seconds.
Okay.
I'm going to. Well, okay, actually, make that like 18 seconds.
Why don't you tell me when you're ready?
Okay.
I love the two of them.
I'm gonna hop down, try and like not die here, and just take a look at this very sad buddy boy.
I'm just gonna accompany Astrea in
Okay.
case any of these explode.
That's probably a good idea.
And while they're doing that,
Do any of these explode?
can Callista
Yeah, go
tell is the humanoid in the egg sac that we found? Can we tell is it
Sorry, give me 2
still
seconds.
alive?
Everything is broken.
Oh no.
Seems to be still alive,
Alright.
Callista.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Sorry, give me 2
head
seconds.
down. Go on.
Heck. Please hold. Why do you hate me?
Everything okay, Jen?
Okay, hang on. Give me 2 more seconds. Someone say something.
Something.
There we go. Okay, hello. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. My AirPods just disconnected. I'm so sorry. Last I heard was Kaliuka accompanying Estrella.
Yes. So Calliope has come down with you. Callista, I just informed the humanoid figure inside the egg does seem to be alive still. The egg looks healthy. It doesn't look like the thing inside is dead. You come down to this body. It's a relatively old skeleton. And it is just a skeleton. It has been picked clean completely of any sign of meat. Roll a medicine check. Are you proficient in medicine?
I am not proficient in medicine, no. I'm also happy to do like an investigation for anything he had on him.
Yeah, that's fine. So do an investigation for me. Actually, your detect magic senses would be twinkling.
At him?
On him, yeah.
Okay. That is actually a 25.
Lovely. So this sort of sixth sense that you had of I need to go over there. You head down this area, head towards the skeleton, and there is some magic sort of energy coming from there's this skeleton, and then the only thing that's on it is a sort of a bag slung over his shoulder. And the magic seems to be emanating from there. There is also where are you? Oh yeah, you're here. So there is also magic emanating from that sort of wooden box behind where Calliope is standing. And as you get closer, you open up the bag. First of all, there is 100 gold pieces in that bag.
All right. Anything else?
Yes. Let me just get my notes. There is a coil of rope, and that is what is transmitting the magical energy.
Okay. Kinky.
Rika's just gonna look back at you, Estrella, and just kind of like point towards the box to kind of like ask, you think it's okay to open this? Is there a trap that you see?
Let me take a look. Can I look for traps?
You can roll investigation key for me.
Oh, that's less good. 14.
14. It doesn't seem to be trapped.
Seems
Okay,
fine.
It's not
There is
even
something. There is something magical in there. Do we want to grab it and bring it back to the others before we unlock it, though?
Mm-hmm. I opened the box to see what's inside, but quite cautiously in case it triggers something as well.
Okay. So you open it up
or
and
we can
you
open it here.
find. Oh, so you wanted to bring the box back?
I'm just gonna open it here just to kind of see what's.
Okay. There's just a vial in there. Sort of potion
A while. Oh, okay. I'm gonna pick it up and
Is it
show it to
full of
Astrid.
something? Does it have potion in
Yeah,
it?
there is a liquid inside.
What color is it?
Roll arcane for me. That's a good question. Let me just remind myself.
Oh, that's,
Oh,
a
that's
9
bad. I rolled a 2 for a total of 10.
Oh,
Red.
okay. That's still higher
Red
than
liquid.
9. Do you think this is maybe healing potion or something? So I've seen healing potions and they have the red color.
I mean, this one is a pretty recognizable one, I think, for you. Especially Australia, you probably had to take a few healing potions in your time. Every time you've knocked your knee, every time you've bumped your elbow, you are a wizard. Yeah, even though it's a 10, you can recognize this is a healing potion, and it is a slightly more potent one than available to the general public. It is a potion of greater healing.
Oh.
And I'll just get you to do the same thing. Roll another arcane check on the rope.
All right.
Yeah.
I have 25 again.
It's a rope of entanglement.
Yep. I was like, climbing or entanglement. It's one of the two. All right. Is that attuned? Nope. It doesn't need to be. Excellent. I kind of like, I take the rope, I coil it around my my arm briefly, tie it into a nice little like coil, put it back in the bag. Let's bring these things back to the rest and see what they figured out about that egg. And they kind of she kind of like walks back up north, just kind of like daydreaming about one day the next time Castian makes fun of her for being clumsy, just tripping him with it.
So
I saw your
about
face,
Cassian
Cat.
is what I got there. I just picked up daydreaming about Cassian. I didn't listen to the rest of what you said. Okay.
She's
so
daydreaming about
daydreaming
tying
about-
Cassian up is what she's doing.
Yeah, that's what I picked up from it anyway.
Mhm.
Wow. Australia. Is this a
DM
or
sits her
place? It's the spider webs, isn't it? It's just imagining the spider webs kind of. Oh yeah, I can see it now. Okay, so anyway, moving on from that, you will watch as Australia and Kelly can kind of make their way back to you. Australia's got this really weird, goofy ass grin on her face. No idea why. But they kind of come back and she's kind of got a rope and she seems to have found some treasure.
A new bag.
Can I cut this open now?
Yeah, I'm just going to prep a firebolt just in case something attacks us. So if something jumps out and strikes at Onyx, I will send a firebolt at it, assuming it seems angry / territorial and not just scared.
I'm going to... Let's see, do I have a normal, like, dagger?
If you don't, I do.
Yeah, alright, then let's pass that over, and I will carefully cut this open.
Okay, so God, this is like everything I hate in one horrible description here, but here we go. So you plunge the dagger into the egg, and you begin to cut it open. Assuming that everything is okay, because this is not a natural egg, this is not normal. So Nelia would be fine with this, right? So
Right, because humans don't normally grow an egg.
Slice down. No, they they do,
Well,
but not that you can see.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. Maybe these really are just moist. I'm gonna not go down that thought. Anyway, I'm just not even going to touch it. Why? I just want everyone to know in chat that I'm running.
The speed is now an 18 plus
right
speed.
now. This is no one else ever.
Oh. Oh.
Uh-oh.
So
Oh dear.
you kind of slice down into and weird.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Your thing is doing
Lagging.
stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have you do this description again because we've only heard
Oh no,
about
what's happened?
1 in 6 words.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so it
Oh, and there
It's
you go.
lagging.
You're
Is what
done
it's
again.
doing.
chat here. Okay.
The internet is afraid of spiders too, apparently.
Yes.
Doesn't want to hear this.
Mm-mm.
The internet's finally had enough of our shit.
Yeah, I think
We got 2 18 plus.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
It was the rope, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely.
Can you
the
hear
rope.
me now?
Yes.
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 Oh.
Yeah, and is Foundry still working for everyone?
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well we'll see how we go.
Okay.
What did I say?
One more
What did I
time.
say? Oh, we have like no tech gremlins, so it's not a stream. What did you all say to me? Oh no, everything's fine once you're in a stream. Okay, so you stab the egg and you begin to slice down. And first of all, this gross like fluid spills out of it and just sort of splatters onto the floor. It is disgusting. It smells nasty. Obviously it is kind of natural process. I don't know the science, but this is what you'd expect from an egg. And as that happens, the figure inside sort of stirs, it jerks, and you hear like the sound of an intake of breath, but it is a struggled breath, as if it is struggling to breathe. This creature, an arm shoots out of where you've just stabbed, and it kind of flaps around a bit as if trying to reach for something. The other one comes out and they split the hole bigger, and you can now see the form inside. It is humanoid, but instead of a pair of eyes, there are 6 sets of eyes, and sort of a couple of bumps where one other set might be growing. There are a pair of mandibles, sort of just starting to grow from around its lips. And covering their hands and skin is this just sort of like spider fur, as I like to call it. Yes, Astrea.
I know I rolled twice already, but can I roll some kind of Arcana check?
I also have an idea for this to figure out what's going on, but
Well, it kind of half stumbles out. It hasn't quite ripped fully, the shell of this egg, and it is struggling to breathe, and it kind of gasps out and then falls limp.
Oh shit. Callista?
Oh, Callista's while it was struggling, could she try to just read its surface thoughts? Do their thoughts seem human?
Ooh. Very interesting.
Ooh. That is a very interesting thing that I did not expect you to do. But you can do that. I didn't know. When the planner DM thinks that she's anticipated everything and she has not, even in the
not
slightest.
possible.
Yes. You can read its surface thoughts. as it sort of falls to the ground. And its surface thoughts are essentially they're very immature. They're very basic and almost nonsensical. But essentially, it's along the lines of a need for air. It's just air, and then it's where am I? Who am I? Mother, and then the thoughts die.
Thing's been wiped and spidered.
So
Yeah.
now that
What's
this
the
is out of
thing
the
here?
shell, do we have any more knowledge about what kind of humanoid features it has? Does it look like a hybrid between a spider and like a dwarf, or a spider and a human, or does it look like some kind of humanoid spider that
Spider
has
and
just
elf.
been...
It definitely
Okay.
seems to have some elven feature to its ears, like that kind of sharpness.
Any idea of what kind of like weird magical phenomenon this is, or nature
I
phenomenon?
am actually gonna use a spell scroll of detect poison and disease.
Okay.
Hold on. If I can, hold on. Do I have that spell?
You have a spell scroll of it.
Right, but
So-
I think it says if I don't normally have that spell, then
Oh
need
yeah,
to
it has to be on
make-
your spell list.
yeah, it's, and I don't think it is on my
I-
spell list.
Let me see if it's on mine, because I might be able
Detect
to.
poison and disease should be on a paladin spell list.
Oh, okay, then I'll just go ahead and use it. And
Yeah, should be on a paladin spell list. I'm not sure why.
Oh, it's
it
not on
wouldn't
mine.
be.
Never mind.
Interesting. Let me just look it up. Hold on. Detect.
Poison and disease. It is available for paladin.
okay, cool.
Yeah, that's
Then
what I
I'm
thought.
casting it.
On the creature, yeah.
Yes.
And Astrea, what was your question again?
Do I have any idea what kind of phenomenon this is, whether it be natural or magical?
Okay, roll an Arcana check for me.
Okay.
Or nature. I will allow either.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, you rolled a nat one.
I rolled a nat one.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, okay. You
9.
don't really recognize what on earth is going on here. It's definitely, I will give you that it doesn't seem natural. But you're not really sure. This doesn't look right. Is
Astrea's
basically what I'm giving you.
That's not right. That's not normal.
Could I,
If this-
while looking at this, maybe essentially kind of reach out to my deity and cast borrowed knowledge to get a proficiency in Arcana checks, and for flavor, kind of like ask, like, God Heroes, could you maybe shed some light on this dark cave and what the hell's going on?
Also, if there's any poison or disease on it, it should tell me what kind it is, not just that it's present.
Mhm. Okay.
So for my Arcana, with the proficiency, I get a total of 20.
20. I'm going to address the detect poison and disease first. So you kind of whip out this sort of scroll.
Oh, you whip it out?
You whip it out. You whip that scroll out.
Now Astrea is
Why
really
are we
happy.
here? What is it about this cave that has got you in this mood? I don't understand.
What is it about the wet cave?
The wet, dripping, dank, moist cave?
Okay. Well, how do I ask? So yeah, you whip out the scroll, this sort of phallic looking scroll, and You unfurl it, and quickly read off the spell, and it sort of glows, and then sort of disintegrates and blows away like leaves on the wind. But your focus is this creature, and even
I
the
will do
egg
it,
around
please.
it as well. That does so. It is some kind of. It immediately reads to you as some kind of poison in the system, some kind of. It is not a natural part of that thing's biology. You can feel in that energy that sort of a poison is pumping around this creature's system and is doing something. It is not something that you recognize. In this instance, you might normally go, "Oh, that's serpent poison, or this type of poison, or this type of poison." This is an entirely new thing, and might have like a mix of different types of poisons within it. Something I will give you, because it does give you the type of poison. So what I will give you is that the poison is transformative. It is changing, very similar to, because it is technically classed as a poison, blood of the lycanthrope, where it's kind of got that thing with the power to change. This has it's not the same, but this has a similar kind of property. There's a change happening as a result of the poison in this poor creature system.
Gotcha.
So that's what you get from detect poison and disease. Remind me, Kayuki, you wanted to know what Eros, you wanted Eros to tell you what the fuck was going on here.
Yeah, basically with the magic happening here. So with an Arcana check.
So you
of the
roll
20.
a 20. Okay, so as Estrella falls to her knees because she rolled a meager 9 and she just has no idea, never seen it, given up immediately. What am I even good for? Am I supposed to be a wizard?
Exactly.
You look and you can see this is not an actual change. Similar, you wouldn't necessarily know that it's poison, but it is something magical is transforming this creature. I would say you've probably never seen this kind of magic before. And it's not just, oh, I've heard about this, but I've not seen it. Like, you've never seen anything like this before or heard of anything like this before. Beyond it having this faint, reminiscent feel of that tale of Arasta and the way that Phoenix clipped his fingers and Arasta was not a nymph anymore. She was a monstrous spider. This feels like an attempt at that. And I would probably give that same information to Onyx as well. The way that this poison works, it reminds you of that myth. It reminds you of that tale that you've heard since you were a child. Told to you as sort of a terrifying bedtime story. Or not a child, but like, in the last couple of years, you're sort of
Young
adult,
person.
at least. A young person. And it is almost like someone has methodically created something that would attempt at that process. You can also see on this creature, by the way, now that it's kind of ripped out a little bit, there is sort of stubs of half-grown arms underneath where its arms normally are. Also kind of with that spike. I'm just freaking myself out here. I'm not scaring any of you. I'm just scaring me. That horrible spider fur, like tarantula fur. This is how I'm going to cure my arachnophobia, isn't it? I'm just going to write a story about it.
You created your own exposure therapy, basically.
Yeah, basically. But in the safety of D. This is why they say D&D is therapy. This is why they say it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Callista, at this point, she's gonna look over at Onyx and just say, "Do you recognize this person or who this person used to be?"
I don't, do I?
Okay, so no, but they are wearing Cetacean clothing, and you have this moment of when Callista says that of just panic, blind panic. What did I just do? Was that Bianca? And you look back. No, the creature does have hair. It is braided in a Cetacean style, so you can tell that this person was probably from Cetessa. They are wearing sort of loose-fitting dress. It is not of the style that Bianca liked to wear at all. Much longer, much
You said they
flowier.
were elvish, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there any kind of insignia on any clothing they might have, or any sort of jewelry that might indicate any kind of political association or like family sigil?
Well, I think
Roll an investigation check for me.
And what does my deity tell me about what's happening?
so. I think
Sorry. Well, your deity. So your deity doesn't speak to you, but I gave you the answers that you gained from your roll of a 20, which was that something is happening that looks like it is trying to replicate that process of the same kind of transformation process, but it's slower. It doesn't have that instant fairy tale style. And then suddenly they were this creature. It seems methodical. It seems almost scientific in its approach. That's the best that you kind of get from your newfound knowledge. But your deity in this case doesn't speak to you. You just kind of get this warm sense of this is Eras's best guided guess as to what might have happened.
As soon as Callista basically gives Onyx the idea that her mother could be in one of these eggs, I think so. I rolled a wisdom save, got a 6. So I think that Onyx starts panicking and just comes up to every egg that she can find and starts chopping them open.
What I will, I know you just got a wisdom save of 6, but what I will say is that you would understand that the reason why this creature is now dead is because of its exposure to air and no longer being in this fluid.
I guess I didn't realize it was dead. I thought it was just
it's dead.
Unconscious.
Yeah, it's dead. Yeah, very dead.
Got
Gasped
it.
for breath, died. No one kind of went, "Oh, I'm going to try and bring it back to life," or anything like that.
I tried
or
to
is
call
it dead,
Callista.
or is it
I
it's dead now.
I just thought it was
I just didn't get in
passing
there.
out from panic. I didn't realize it was dying.
Anything from 26 investigation on the body?
26 investigation on the body. Nothing beyond a tattoo that seems dedicated to Nilia.
I will call Onyx's attention to that and ask if that helps any kind of association. And someone remind me out of character, when did Onyx's mom go missing?
It was while technically we don't know exactly. I guess I could
a week ago.
and find
A week
the
ago, right?
tree. Yeah.
I think it was a week ago that.
Okay.
The mother.
Can I do a quick run through of the other cocoons and see if I can find any fresher ones?
Anyway,
Like at least the ones in the visible area right now.
And at this point, too, Callista will also say, "You
Is
know,
Cat frozen?
I have something that might help if we can use it quickly enough on any of these people in the cocoons, but I only have three potions of it, so we have to. I don't know if we should test it on. If we find your mother, if we should test it on someone else first to see if it works,
We should test
Or
on
we-
someone else first, because the last thing we want is to, no, her mother should not be the guinea pig here.
Yeah, 'cause-
Ideally, no one should be, but
So I think I lost you all for a moment there. So I
Yeah.
don't 100% know the conversation that went on. Like, you all went very slow, and then I was fully pulled from the call and then back in. So in answer to the question, which I did say before it went off, but you probably didn't hear me, it was 2 weeks ago that Onyx's mother disappeared.
okay.
Can we?
And then I don't really know what's been going on since then.
I kind of feel like if Onyx had realized that this person was dying, she would have tried to do something about it, because she does have healing. So I don't know if
Okay.
it just happened too quickly for her to notice, or if it was just me not picking up on it.
I thought
It happened very quickly, but you were the one that was. What would you have attempted to do?
I think I would have attempted to heal them, but then again, I don't know that that would have stopped them from suffocating.
I did shout out for Callista when they started.
and
I guess I would
was
just
a little shocked.
instantly lay on hands for 10 HP and see if that would make a difference.
Cool. So, yeah, I will allow you because it happened right in front of you. I did hear Jen shout out for Callista. I think Callista was in a little bit of shock, and a lot of stuff happened all quickly, and then everyone started investigating the body. So I guess I just assumed that you all realized that it was dead and it was like not moving, and you were all like, "Oh, let's look at the clothing." So I just went, "Okay, they know." But for the lay on hands, it wouldn't have done anything. The creature was suffocating. It might have had a moment of sort of clearing some, because the lay on hands was healing points you would have put into it.
Yes.
Yeah, so it probably would have maybe just like lived a little bit longer, which would kind of have given Callista, whose instant reaction was, "Let me just read its thoughts before it perishes."
Well, I didn't want to bring someone back that was going to attack us.
Yeah. And she didn't know what
you don't know. It's
the
a
hell
very,
the thing was doing.
It's a very difficult situation. Obviously, it's like, yes, it's a dying creature, but it is like quite monstrous looking. You wouldn't necessarily have immediately registered, "Oh, this used to be a human and has now turned into this thing," and we should immediately, like, it looked quite monstrous, and it was kind of clawing its way out, and it wouldn't have been surprising if you'd have all thought, "Oh, this thing's going to attack us." So it would have probably lived a little bit longer, enough, Callista, for you just to hear kind of more panicking, more. There would have been probably an appeal to Nilia at one point. Nilia, help me, or something along those lines.
Would Callista have
Before
known
it died.
any way of clearing its throat or trying to help it if it was having trouble breathing?
I think the reason it can't breathe is because it's in the wrong substance, not because it's got a
Yeah.
blockage.
Yeah, it was. As I did say, that the egg was not really
Fluid.
close to hatching, as it were.
Gotcha.
It was, and it's kind of mid-growing. So, part of the suffocation, I guess, is just another thing that I'm terrified of, suffocation. But here we go. Is that it can't breathe because it's in the wrong.
Okay.
It's in the
one
wrong
thing
environment.
that Eva would have
It's like a
done
fish
while
out of
all this is happening. Eva's just kind of gonna be like, "Ew, gross," and she just kind of casually step over what's going on, and she's gonna go investigate the rest of the eggs to see if there's one closer to hatching.
And I
I'm
think
also at
Yeah,
the
roll an
same
investigation
time
check.
gonna maybe ask Onyx. I don't mean to alarm you, Onyx, but maybe you could give us a couple of
I got a 12.
details about how your mother Bianca looks, just in case
12.
we see her trapped around here.
Also, if we're
I
going to
think-
cut open any more of the sacks, we should cut them open from the top to avoid the fluid spilling out.
that's a good idea. I think we should avoid cutting open any more sacks until we can figure out how to help the people that come out of them.
Right. I know Callista had an idea, but we'll see.
My mother.
The 12. You don't. By the way, Eva, you don't find any more eggs that are containing humanoid shapes. They are containing spider shapes inside.
Oh.
So my mother has long red hair. She's a dwarf. She has squarish features, green eyes. She's a weaver, so she has strong but calloused hands. Palish skin. Also,
any identifying jewelry?
A goldish, it looks gold, but I don't think it's real gold, necklace with several round beads and a circle in the front.
And did she have maybe a nickname for you? Something that she would know you by in case you're not with us when we see her?
Just Onyx.
I
think also, sorry, real quick, I'm just going to say
go.
like a funerary prayer of Nilia's over the body of this spider person.
I'm thinking that maybe we should take a look at those doors from before. See if the keys that I found open any of them before we keep going. It looks like there's just more of these sacks further down the way, and I would like to see if there's any information on them at all through those doors.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good plan in terms of you can tell that some of these areas this is all very natural cavern, but behind a door might be a room,
right,
which feels more human inhabited, and you might find
more clues.
Something. More clues, exactly.
Are you all okay with going back a little bit? I know Eva, you were looking at the doors earlier.
Yep, Eva's gonna nod and then just start walking back that way.
Yes.
Yeah, Callista will follow along this
Do
gate.
you have a particular? Yeah, if you just move your characters to which particular door, I guess.
Eva's gonna go over to Onyx and sort of grab Onyx's hand and then lead her back to the door that she was at way earlier.
Okay, Onyx will follow her.
there it is. Okay. And this was the door directly to the east of the room that we were in, not the northeast? Or was it the northeast?
I can find it.
I know there was the one up or the one... Ooh, I see the rippling.
Oh, you see it?
Yeah, it's really... It's a little hard to see because like it's very, very subtle, but I can see it.
I was hoping that it would be subtle. I was trying to, it was really difficult to find a subtle one. A lot of them are like big, like vortex waves. And stuff. It's like, that's not what I'm after. Okay, so I believe it was kind of down here.
Yeah, Eva's taken down over to the other door that she was going to go to earlier.
Oh, there's another door.
Yep.
All right, I will follow Eva.
Well, I mean,
I don't know where Eva is right now, so
I
if
think she
someone
went
can move
down.
me to where she is.
Okay,
I keep trying to wait for you.
Do you want to check this door, though, Astria? This one that before we go past it.
Eva, are you okay with stopping and check this door, or do you want to go to the other one first?
I guess the epiphany that maybe they shouldn't split up finally reaches Eva's mind, and she'll turn around and head back to the closest door.
All right.
Okay.
What does a frustrated
dragging
Eva
Onyx
sound
along.
like?
What?
What does a frustrated Eva sound like? All
Probably
what's
like
behind that door.
a frustrated duck, just like.
Oh.
Okay, so this door in front of you, it is locked. It's a big. I briefly described it earlier. It's a big stone door, very heavy looking. Not one, I'm afraid, Onyx, that you would easily be able to kick in. So you're kind of probably looking at somebody either having the key for this or trying to unlock it properly with thieves' tools.
I would like
Try
to
those
use...
keys you found.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. Can I check for traps and then try the keys?
Investigation check, please.
Oh, that's honey sweet voice. That's terrifying. 23.
23. It doesn't look trapped. And with a 23, I mean, you've got a ring of keys. You would easily identify that there's a particularly old-looking key that is sort of ornately carved. The rest of them are just very average-looking keys, but this one looks special. That is the one that you can see will fit in this lock.
In the meantime, Onyx is preening Eva a little bit because she heard the annoyed quacks. So she's just like preening her feathers a little.
Eva is visibly calmed.
I will put it in. And I will go kerchunk. Yeah, I know. I did that on purpose. I hate all of you.
Put the key into the lock. Yeah. Okay.
And I give it a nice strong jiggle.
Give it a nice. Okay.
And then I'll pull out.
And it opens.
That's what she said
to me.
Yeah.
And here we go. So you
right.
walk into this room. I love this room, by the way. The shadows are so cool. And you are. Oh, this one might have a special.
Gross. I want shadows.
So, within this room lies a number of strange stone coffins. Each have like a hooded figure carved into the lids. The figures are pretty much identical. They all have the same cowls and the same blindfolds tied around their eyes. Nearby, a set of stone steps leads to a plaque on which a written message of some kind is carved, and the torch next to it is already lit.
Do these look like
to the west of the
coffins?
door, and the north leads to a dingy corridor. Yes.
Can I do a religion check?
You absolutely can. Anyone with proficiency in religion that wants to can do a religion check.
Nope. Eva is
applicable at all?
Well, people are looking at words on things. Eva
20.
is going to
Dirty.
go into her investigation mode and kind of waddle around looking at things, mostly for darkness.
I'm mostly looking for darkness. There is plenty of places in here to sit in the darkness. These coffins cast very strange shadows. So you can kind of go around any of them and be out of line of sight of a lot of people. So let's just see. Oh yeah, you can see as well. There's a corridor to the north as well that is covered in spider webs.
Eva's gonna give a little verbal gross as she looks at the spider webs.
Very
Can I
gross.
call over to Callista and say, Callista, so I heard you say earlier that you were a little proficient with opening locks. Do you think you could get this one over here?
I would be certainly happy to try. I mean, I was learning after the first time I met you. My teacher says I'm really not very good, but I'm happy to give it a try, and she'll pick whichever lock, or at least attempt to pick whichever lock Kaluka is talking about, because my map is freaking out on me and I can't really see much.
Which lock is that?
Is there something here next to what Kaluka is standing? Is it like
it's a plaque. It's a plaque.
Oh.
Stairs lead up to a stone plaque that has some kind of written message on it, and then there's a torch kind of next to it, and that's why it's emitting light. There's a torch next to it that was already
Okay.
lit.
My bad.
So you would be able to go up and read it, but it's not a locked door.
Do I recognize the language?
Do you recognize the language? What languages do you speak?
Callista will go up there too and look at it since she's here.
I really
have the
don't
Helm of
speak.
Comprehending Languages, so I can make that happen if none of us can read it.
Yeah,
If you have a
definitely,
Helm of
because-
Comprehending Languages, I am pretty sure, probably Estrella, it is only you that is going to be
Yeah,
able to
because I can
recognize this
only
language.
read. I only know Common and Giant. Basically,
Okay.
just what I speak at home and
I
outside.
mean, I know 5 million languages, but I'm off over here.
I've got Celestial, Common, Draconic, Elvish, and Infernal.
And I've got
I've
Primordial
got-
Okay.
also on there.
A 20 on my religion check.
20 and yeah, I know, 2019. So
I'll deal with the text in a minute after you deal with that.
Who had the 19? 19 for Callista. Okay. 20 is pretty good as well. What I will give you is that this doesn't remind you of any deity really immediately. Normally a lot of the deities of Theros, they're quite there's a lot of symbology that is repetitive. You can immediately tell like what kind you're dealing with just based on the kind of imagery, the signs, the symbols. And this one, it feels old. And it feels like that whatever this is it is definitely religious, but it is an older way of worshipping a certain deity that is maybe no longer in practice now. That being said, both 20 is good, and Callista, I will give you this as well, because you recently saw a strange, mysterious figure atop a tower that, before making a lion appear before everyone's eyes, wrapped themselves within a blindfold. And something about the imagery on this coffin reminds you of that blindfold. And there's really only one deity that is known for blindfolds or for such kinky shit. And that is I'm just joining it, just can't be
It's the deity Castrea.
And it is Coffins, the deity of fate. Something about that imagery strikes you as being related to Clothis. You are now going to go and have a look at the stone tablet?
Yeah, assuming that someone lets me know that, there's mysterious writing that no one can read.
I mean, it's pretty obvious in the room. There's a torch that's kind of lit it up. You can see words being scrawled on the wall.
Then yeah, I will go ahead and let me double check how it works. Okay.
Yeah,
so I can cast Comprehend Languages at will. So what I'll do is I will use the helm to cast Comprehend Languages on myself, and then I have to be touching the wall. So I'm going to regret this, but I am going to touch the wall, the plaque, and gather an idea of what it is. Also, I don't know if I can find out what language it is, but I would like to try and figure out what language it is if possible.
Okay. Well, interestingly, because I've just realized that I've specifically written here that this is not a recognizable language.
Okay.
But
if these are just...
you can read it.
Okay.
But you don't know what language you are reading. So
while I'm doing this, I want to take a rubbing.
Normally, when you feel like you've uncovered something lost here, because normally when you read a language, you can kind of go, oh yeah, classic Celestial, or whatever. But in this particular instance, you're reading it and you don't recognize even kind of it's its own set of symbols and runes, and it doesn't even seem to remotely remind you of any existing language within Theros.
I'm just taking a rubbing of it as I'm reading it.
You can read it. Your detect magic is still up, right?
If it's been less than 10 minutes, yes. If not, I can easily get it back up in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has probably been a little bit longer than 10 minutes now.
Then what I'll do is, for the sake of time, I'll just use the once per long rest thing that I have that allows me to cast a ritual spell once with normal casting time, without using a spell slot. So I will just go ahead and do that for the sake of time.
Cool.
Will
that's absolutely fine.
Will Eva potentially feel anything that might, draw her to be interested in what they're all looking at? With my insight? Is it something, being a follower of Krufix? I would kind of get an inclination.
I think the only thing that Eva would be really interested in is, I mean, you know a lot of languages, Eva, and even though you can't tell that this is a lost language necessarily, in the way that Estrella can, having cast comprehend languages and not knowing what the language is, you would have seen those runes and those symbols, and you would go, this doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before, and that makes you think that it is a mystery. And you are quite fond of mysteries, Eva. So I would say yes, you are probably very interested in the fact that you cannot read this plaque.
Yep.
And even
she's
more
gonna beeline through
that
everyone and like push them out of their way. Though she's not strong enough, she won't, but she'll try to push them out of the way to kind of waddle up and join the investigation and being like, ooh, shiny.
Okay. So I'll read out what the plaque says to you, Astrea. It says, "It matters not whether you plead to Thassa or Keranos for the seas to be calm when a storm rages, whether you beg for medicine and relief from Faraka when sickness ravages you, or whether you cry for Heliod or Eris's justice when you or your family are wronged. Your path has been decided. Follow your thread and play your part in the great tapestry of Theros."
I will read it out loud as I'm going. This is very, what's the name? Prefix?
Not this one. This is a
Clothis, and that was I think that was more from the religion check from the carvings. What did you roll? Did you do a religion check?
I didn't do a religion check. I was wondering if I could argue for history at all.
History.
On account of this being super old and a lost language with the iconography.
Yeah, okay, I'll allow it. Roll a history, but it will be a high DC.
That's fair. That's bad. 17.
I mean, it's not bad.
I rolled a 9.
No, 25.
But, you do not know really what you're looking at. But the words fate do kind of that's what this plaque seems to be implying, is very fate oriented, which you do know is under Clothis's domain.
Okay.
But fate can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. So
any pings off of the detect magic?
Yes. In one of the nearby open coffins, something is calling to you.
Which one?
Hold on. It is this one.
Okay. Yeah. So Estrella just kind of like goes up, touches the carving, reads it out loud, and then kind of like turns to look at the coffin to the far north. There's something in there. Do any of the spider webs or strands seem to stand out in any way? like to me personally? Like, I don't know, is one of them glowing or red or something?
Nope.
I'm gonna do a detect evil. Just sweep in a circle.
Detect evil. Nothing really stands out to you.
Nothing.
Would I know
When I point it specifically at the coffin that she indicated, nothing still?
No.
Okay.
Strands just kind of
for
like using her shitty strength to kind of just like,
Eva? For Eva, would she know that this is like Clothis bullshit?
Oh, Callista would have,
I will let you roll a religion check.
and
even if
Callista
you're not
would
religious.
have told
Gross.
her what the connection she made between the person.
I mean, if Callista's saying it out loud, then at this point you would all know that it could be closest related.
Okay, so I would hope she's saying it out loud because that
Yeah,
roll
she
was
would.
really bad. Okay, if Eva hears this, then she is going to start sort of in her head, kind of calling out for Krufix, and just trying to like be like, this Clothis bullshit, and kind of putting it out there to see if she can garner his attention at all. Because she knows that he does not like her shenanigans.
Okay. Just sending that out in your mind to the ether.
Yep.
Close this bullshit.
Yep. To her deity.
I mean, you would know that Clothis and Krufis have a complicated relationship.
Yes.
They were, they were warring, but they have, as of late, made peace.
Well,
and
peace
have
being that
working
I think
together.
he's still pretty trepidatious about what she's doing secretly.
He is. He is trepidatious, I think, about her
intentions,
the effects that her decisions will have on the world. But they have reached a sort of a treaty of some kind, and for the most part the thing that they do kind of agree on is that the rest of the Therosian pantheon are mostly just a bunch of
hooligans,
petty squabbling. They kind of view them as children, to be honest. It's very that they are older, much older, those two deities. And this is common knowledge, everyone knows that. So
she's just putting it out to the aethers that something's going on here that if he doesn't already know about, like maybe he needs to, take this in. And
all right.
When she makes him aware, she's going to pull out her little pad and pen, and she's going to write the language down, because this is now a new lost language, and she's going to hoard it like a shiny object.
Sister just kind of like pushing fruitlessly against the stone coffin lid.
Callista will go over and help her try to push the coffin lid off. Not that her strength is probably going to be too much more. Yeah, no, not if she rolled a 3 on a strength check.
Let's see how the strength
well,
check
you
goes.
can.
That's
So
the
one of you can roll
one!
the check if you like. And oh boy, okay. I mean, it was slightly open. It was slightly ajar, but neither of you managed to open that at all.
Estrella just slips, like steps on a loose stone and just goes down.
Yeah, Callista will be like, Kaluka, could you come?
the coffin.
Oh,
Kaluka, could you come help us get this lid off the rest of the way?
just like a hand sticks up from behind the coffin.
I think
Any of you tell my boss, you all die a horrible fiery death.
I'm gonna go and try to lift this lid
I think
off.
I'll go too, and together Onyx and Kalyuka could probably do it together.
Is that
All right, so roll an assisted strength check or individual. Fine.
Could I roll an athletics check, or would it be straight strength?
Let's go strength.
That's a 23 total.
Oh, Not 25 though.
I got a nat one.
23 too. So the squishy wizard steps
Wizard.
away. Sadly. And you kind of push and the stone kind of gives. Inside, interestingly enough, when you push it open, there is no body inside. Which is strange because this looks like a tomb. And yet no body. But there is a potion. Or a potion bottle of some kind. And it's got a sort of grey mistiness to it.
Do I know what
Could
this
I
one
do-
is?
Yeah, could I just check it out to see what it is? Can I like have a look at it?
Yeah, you would have to roll an Arcana check.
That's a 1! I don't know what's going on today!
That's a 23 total.
Thank God.
Yeah, my ability checks are going on great today.
I'm
What
over
did you
here
steal
like,
from me? What kind of luck did you steal from me today?
Borrowed knowledge.
I think Onyx got it since she got a nat one on that strength check is just like,
Estrella's just still like recovering from the embarrassment of face planting.
No, Estrella will hear in her head, "It's okay. It looked kind of cool. You know, I fall down all the time."
I just kind of like give Callista a sad look.
All right. So, what was the check for
23
the
Arcana.
23. Okay, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, you do recognize this actually. It's a very rare potion, but you have seen it before. Back in Akros, a sort of potion peddler would come by occasionally. And even though you never probably really bought anything, beyond maybe some ingredients for your mother, they would tell you they were very happy to tell you what each potion did, and you know they're a merchant, so they're trying to sell things after all, even if they kind of get the sense you're not going to buy it. So you have in your hand a potion of clairvoyance.
Ooh, okay. Interesting.
Love to voice some Claire.
A voice and Claire. All right. And you don't really feel anything else pinging off in this room, to be honest, beyond what you've just found, Jen. So you have either this sort of northern tunnel, which if I'm correct, yeah. Yeah, so are you what are you doing next? Words.
So there are 2 more keys on this ring. Eva, I know you had a door that you wanted to look at, and there's another door back to the northeast of the room that we just came from. There's also a door in the north of this room. My personal vote is to unlock all of the doors before we explore any of them fully.
So you would have noticed, I'll tell you, in fact, I'll tell you where you, okay, so that's actually not a door. So you have a few different options. You can go back the way you came. In the room that has like the lit up pools, as it were, there was a door, well, it wasn't a door, but it was some stone steps leading up. So there was this kind of, here where my mouse is, you can see this bigger pool of sunlight here. I love watching all of your cursors follow my cursor just to kind of go, oh, over here. And so there's some stone steps leading up this way to something. Then there was the door further down that Eva discovered. And I'm trying to think if you have stumbled upon any other doors at the moment. don't think so.
So Eva is going to potentially, when asked where we want to go, she's going to give like big puppy dog bird eyes and point out towards the door that she wanted to go look at earlier.
Why not?
Bit of a as much as her beak can pout, it's gonna pout, and she's gonna point that way because she really wants to go see what was in that room.
We will have
Curiosity
I
is
follow.
what kills
Yeah.
the
All right.
the
Off
cat
you
bird.
head. Yeah. So
I'll just follow Eva.
heading
wherever the heck
back
she is.
down towards that
Yeah.
room then.
When it's agreed that they're going, Eva is going to skip as she goes because she's happy.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Did
I mean,
something
I
there.
want to go in there,
Sorry, that
but
was-
like,
that was me. I believe it was up here, wasn't it?
yep,
This one?
that one. Yep.
Lovely.
Is that a lever?
Oh, did not notice that there.
Oh,
Okay, so you head to this little area, and yeah, you are in front of a locked door, but you have a ring of keys.
Can I take a look and see if any of them seem to match, and also look at that lever?
Okay. Okay, so does someone want to unlock the door while someone looks at the lever?
Eva, with a childish excitement almost, once they pick out a key, she's gonna kind of like reach her hands out as like a gimme gimme.
I will give her the key and inspect the lever.
Cat.
I'm just gonna stand in guard in case anything's gonna like
Oh.
harm them. Even if something's gonna fall on
We
them.
have lost. Okay. Let me see if I can find.
Everyone.
Completely lost. Where on earth have you put yourself, Lulu?
I don't
Oh,
know.
here,
My
I
map
see.
keeps scrolling in and out without me touching it, and so it's so far out
I've
I
got
can't
you, I
see
got you.
anything.
You're now next to Eva.
Okay, I think I can see myself now.
Okay, so Estrella, you are looking at that sort of pipe with the lever. Well, I think actually it's not a leather; it's a like a wheel.
Like a pressure wheel.
You know, like
Okay.
the wheels that kind of jet out of pipes and they shut off
Yep.
and shut off. So, I mean, that's pretty. Yeah, you would know that immediately. It's there to regulate the piping. Turning it might do something to the water, but you're not really sure what. Eva, you find the key.
Yep.
And you open the door.
Paper.
And
And
Okay,
open the door, and
so-
she is going to like whoop whoop into it.
you have found a storeroom of some kind.
Ooh.
Yeah, storeroom. You found a storeroom. This room, though small, serves as a store. Shelves line the walls. On them are a variety of strange vials, many of them seemingly full of various liquids, mixtures, and concoctions. Some kind of look like just general supplies, while others are definitely brewed in a particular way, and they are labeled. They are labeled as numbers.
Would Callista put the connection together that maybe this has to do with the poison that's coursing through the bodies that were in the eggs?
Potentially, yeah. Assuming that you've kind of all shared the knowledge with each other that you kind of figured out, yeah. You know that something was coursing through that poor citizen's body that was some kind of poison or something, and this looks like vials of, and it's not really something that you can identify. You've never seen them before. You've never seen a liquid that looks kind of like that coloration. It's certainly not something that you would immediately recognize. In terms of what you do find as well, you find, if anyone wants to take any of this, 3 vials of oil, or sort of pots of oil, some acid, because it's all labeled. So this is why I'm telling you this doesn't really need investigation. It's just all labeled nicely, in a very neat hand. You find a sort of a bigger sort of flask of, and it's labeled holy water.
Okay.
And 2 potions of resistance, and then in brackets, poison.
Yup, there it is.
And also, you find a vial of antitoxin as well.
You
So
just hear
feel free
from
to
the
write that
hallway.
down. You can either divvy that up later, or you can choose now. It's up to you where that goes. But
I've written it all down.
Is that a staircase as well that is leading up somewhere?
no, so it does look like a staircase. But for the purposes of this, I have chosen to interpret it as a slightly wonky-looking bookshelf.
Gotcha.
Or shelving of some kind.
I'll just hear from the hallway. I think I found something to control the flow through the pipes. Do you think it's worth messing with it?
Nope. It's gonna be
Eva's told you what
concerned
Joan, it looks
reply.
like you're talking, but you are muted.
I said no.
Okay, so I will join the others in the room. What up with this piece of paper?
Piece of paper, you say?
I do.
Okay. This appears to be a series of notes of experimentation. It describes in great detail how ideal this cave is. It is in itself a natural home for giant spiders and the like. And so their venom, blood, other useful components from various flora and fauna are easily extracted. It also describes in detail the process of transforming women of Setessa into monstrous creatures resembling spiders before attempting to turn them back. Whoever is the writer of this finds only partial successes here and there, if any at all. And at one point they stumble upon something, and it's one person writing, but it is continually we do this, we do that, implying a group. But at one point they stumble upon something that they consider a breakthrough, and this person, there is no name or sign off, writes that her sort of co-experimenters confidently, they're so confident in the results of this that they have taken the transformative liquid themselves and are immediately taking the antidote, and that they are confident that this will be the breakthrough they need. But the next entry that you find details how they were wholly unsuccessful. If anything, this turned them more spider than human, is what it describes.
Okay. So,
And the way that these pages are is they're neat around three sides and then jagged, as if they have been ripped out of something.
okay. So I am going to read this kind of surreptitiously almost. And are there any dates on these observations and notes?
Yes, they are dated at various dates throughout the last month.
Okay, what's the most recent one?
And I would say at the beginning end of the last month. And then the most recent one that you have is probably dated about a week, just under a week before Onyx's mother disappeared.
Okay. Onyx. Don't freak out, but you should read this. And the good news is it looks like there might be a way to reverse whatever happened to your mom. Do you recognize any of the methodology of this research or the handwriting or anything here? As I hand Onyx the papers and see if I can look around for the rest of the journal. I assume it's not here, but
I think if Onyx is reading this, she says, this reminds me of the story of, give me a second.
Arasta?
Yes, of Arasta, and hold on, because I know this, but Joan
yes,
doesn't
boy.
know this. Vamp for me, guys.
Is anyone else
Something
doing anything? You don't find any other pages in this room. Phoenix was the name of the god that turned Arasta from a dryad into a spider.
I'm gonna read the tragedy of Arasta real quick, just because I think that Onyx would probably know this really well, and I think she would bring it up now in relation to this. She says, in ages long past, Nilia left her dryad companion Arasta as a sister, and the two spread wonders across Theros. Blah, blah, blah. Terrible monster. We heard a bunch of this. Arasta retreated and has terrorized the god's servants ever since. To this day, Nilia remains deeply pained by Arasta's loss, knowing that only Phoenix can undo the curse he laid upon the dryad. Nilia often sends her champions to learn the secret of what might restore her friend. It makes me think that perhaps whatever's going on here is an attempt to figure out how to reverse the curse that Phoenix placed on Arasta. But it's also important to remember that Arasta was never a human. Arasta was a dryad first, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yes.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that. And correct me if I'm wrong, Callista, but I'm sure there are plenty of elements between humanoids in general that I'm sure would cross over. And maybe they were thinking if they can reverse it in a person, then maybe it might be able to be adapted to other creatures. Why women?
Because
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say because Arasta and Nilia are both women, and because, or at least goddesses, well, a goddess and a dryad.
What I will say is that it might be to do, or you would possibly be able to figure out that it might be just to do with what is nearby.
That's true. There's not a lot of
Tessa
men.
is mostly populated by women. There's really not a lot of men. The men that are born there, they tend to go off and have their own adventures and do their own thing. And it's part of what Tessa encourages. So the population is pretty much all female, apart from there are some men that stay behind. And they tend to often be guards or sort of animal trainers. And take on sort of a very nurturing role in a lot of things. But there's not really as much in the way of men nearby. So it might not be necessarily that they're targeting women as such, but more that there are just more women around for them to grab.
Okay. I wonder if it might be worth trying to use the antitoxin on any other humanoid that we can find.
Should we take everything to a qualified alchemist first so that they might be able to replicate it in case?
I'm concerned that any alchemist we come across might be the alchemist that wrote this. Does the handwriting look familiar to you at all? Like from a prescription bottle or something?
Does the handwriting look familiar to me? Should I do an investigation check?
You don't need to do an investigation check, no.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just worried about anything in the area. But I do think that
Callista, I've noticed that you've moved your thing out. Is there a reason that you've done that?
Oh no, I didn't realize I had. Sorry.
No, it's okay. There's no problem. I just wanted to know if you were wanting to go and have a look at something else or do something else.
No, I'm just trying to figure out how to use
standing on it. Oh no, that's fine. Don't worry.
Perhaps the third door might shed something. Because this appears to be a storeroom. The third door could be the lab. There has to be a lab somewhere, right?
Well, the place that we had found the eggs, it did extend quite a bit further. Maybe we should go deeper there.
There were 2 tunnels with eggs, though. One was in the room with the plaque. There were eggs further north that I could see. I do think we should investigate the room to the northeast of the pool room, just to see what's there.
Okay. Yeah, you want to head there?
It's on the way.
What, like the big sunlit pool where there's the 4 different
that tunnel to the northeast,
okay, and just to the northeast. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Eva's
yes.
just gonna quickly go over to look in over here.
Okay. Where is Eva?
Just off to the side, there's an entranceway right beside the one that we're all at. I'm just gonna quickly.
Oh yeah, I see.
In.
You know what? Part of me wishes that this map wasn't so dark because it's even really hard for me to find you. Okay, so you're gonna go in here.
I was gonna quickly peek in, see if there's any.
You're gonna roll me a stealth check real quick.
Okay, stealth. One sec. Why are you doing this? Stop. Hold on, my thing just stealth is hopefully going to be better than I've been rolling today. Yes, okay. That is going to be a... Wait, what? Why did you do that, you stupid dice? It rolled off of what it was on. God damn it. Gosh darn it. Gods.
Oh, it's probably because Callista decided to follow you, because she's a little worried about you getting too far from the party, and she probably snuck up a little too close behind you because she was trying to be sneaky and startled you, maybe. Or at least she likes to think that maybe
I can't be startled. I'm alert.
Well, she hopes. Or,
Okay. So you you peek into the corner, and I'm sure that some of you can already see, but as you kind of peek around the corner of this room, I will tell you exactly what you see.
Not intimidating
So this
at all.
room looks as if it were at some point some kind of storeroom as well, though it is in complete disrepair now. A broken ladder is kind of scattered up on the floor. There's a bone of some kind laying nearby, again, sort of picked clean. A pile of rocks block up what was most likely once an entrance to a corridor beyond. But what really grabs your attention is the moment that you kind of enter and you peer around, you realize as you're kind of coming around the corner, you can hear this strange noise, and there is a really loud panicked bleating as you kind of creep into the room. You can see two goats tied up to a nearby post, as well as a much larger ram in the corner, a bit further in. And that ram's coat has a strange purple sheen to it.
Would you call it
they're
Dirkle?
tied up. I would call it Durkle, yeah. If I had to put a name to the color, I would probably say Durkle.
Apt.
There's not much else in here. It's just these sort of frightened animals, really.
Onyx is gonna untie the goats.
You want to untie them?
Mm-hmm.
Instant chaos. Okay. You run over, you untie these goats, and they scarper. They run.
Okay.
Can I take a look at this ram?
I'm actually going to just for the ease of it, I'm just going to get rid of these goats. Okay.
Cool.
Because they are more than gone. And you can kind of hear them clopping around, panicked bleating as they run off into the various tunnels and things.
Muttered
This
prayers to
here
Nilia.
ram, you would recognize Astrea. It's a giant sort of like, it's a giant ram, which is not necessarily the weirdest thing in the world. But it has a special kind of coat. And you roll a nature check for me, please.
Oh, it's the next place ram. It's the next place ram. That's a 19.
It is a Nyx fleeced ram. And it seems oddly like it's wary of you being nearby, but it's also quite placid. It's just sort of sitting there looking around. But it does seem it's not like panicking like the goats were, but it seems to have some kind of modicum of intelligence that perhaps they don't have. But it does seem agitated, like this. It's not happy to be here, but also it's not so panicked that it's just going to run at the nearest thing. And
Can I
just kind of looks at you.
try and kind of like I'd like to kind of like offer it my hand so I can catch my scent, speak quietly to it in fucking, I don't know, Elvish. Just be like,
roll
okay.
roll an animal handling check. This is all going to be animal handling.
This will go
I'm
well.
also
gonna-
kind of having had experience with a lot of the arena animals. I'm gonna walk over, and also with like Caillou being next touched as well. Just kind of walk over to this ram and just softly sing it as in a soothing song, so it can
Would you-
relax.
Would you say you're giving me advantage?
I could. I do. I am
Please.
pretty good at animal handling, though.
Yes,
I-
advantage is fine.
Because I rolled a 1. I would love advantage.
Advantage
Go
is
for it.
fine if you're helping.
Thank you, Kumi. Well, it's not a 1, it's a 13. So, total of 15.
15. You it is breathing quite heavily, but at your sort of touch and your soothing words and Kumi's kind of song, it kind of breathes and bows its head towards you.
What a person are you?
I'm gonna do Cloak of Stars. And just, I know that like mechanically it's meant to give me advantage against attacks, but what I really want to do is to make my appearance look more like the fleece. And take on some of the
I'm going to
same.
give you that you can possibly do that without having to do Cloak of Stars and use your ability.
Okay. And then
yeah,
I will
I'll
just
give you
kind
that.
of approach and try speaking to it in Sylvan of like, are you of Nilia?
I'm just like, are you a person?
Let me just find out if it actually does understand any. Okay.
If it speaks, I can understand it. I don't think it can understand me, but if it speaks, I can understand it.
So it does not speak.
Okay.
So then Eva is
You
going to kind of
fortunate-
push her way through the crowd, and I'm going to expel a spell slot to use my Speak with Animals.
Okay. Cool. So I'll just quickly address Onyx. You don't feel that this creature is like human or like super intelligent. It is still an animal. But you know, where you've grown up, it's interesting because animals that kind of have this like Nixon aura about them, they are especially revered. And that's interesting given your own experiences and the fact that you are Nixborn. It's just interesting how that might vary, or those experiences might differ with animal and human, or humanoid. But this animal is more intelligent than your average. It seems to know that you are a friend, and when you say, "Are you one of Nilia's?" It just sort of blinks at you. It might be that it's communicating with you. It might be that it just happened to blink. But you do feel that kind of calming sense of there's some connection there. Eva, you cast Speak with Animals.
Yep.
What do you say?
She's just going to be like, what the heck? And like in a questioning manner, like she's got no decorum in this. She's like, what the heck? And she's going to motion to all of this.
It will say, you will all hear it kind of is a bit weird. It's barring like a goat, but it is a very like low, almost sort of strange whispery bar. It's not the same as a normal bar. And it would say, I'd
like
be
a whisper yell.
Quieter than that if I were you.
Okay, so then Eva's gonna like tiptoe a little closer, and she's now going to whisper and ask it, what's going on? What's here? Why are you here? Ba 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 ba.
Most likely for my fleece. That's what most humans want. They keep plucking bits from it.
Oh. Well, how many people?
There were 4. Then there was 1. Now none. I'm hungry.
How long since none?
a while.
Mm.
And then its eyes will kind of flash with this almost, and its head will cock, and it will say, "I did say be quiet." And you notice, Eva, that you've been able to hear this kind of panicked bleating and cacophony of hooves and all of this, like, and it's been going on for some time. It had almost become background noise, but the noise is now gone. There is silence once more, and you just hear this strange chittering sound as this ram's eyes widen, and all of you in your heads, so not out loud, new toys to play with.
Kinky!
You'll come find me eventually.
Do I hear it?
Say hello. You all hear it.
I hear it.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't in your head. But the rest of you would. Hear. Won't you come and say hello? And we'll end it there. We'll call the session now.
Terrifying.
Woo!
Cool. Yeah, so we'll do a really quick buzz round. We have gone a little over on time. For those of you that didn't realize, we did start a little bit late today. Everyone here, I did check and make sure everyone was okay to go over a little bit on time. So I wanted to kind of get to a really good cliffhanger, which I hope I did.
Worth it.
So you've met a sheep. Good. So let's quickly go around. I'm going to start with what I can see on Zoom because I've not got the stream up at the moment. Jen,
oh goodness,
feel
okay.
free, real quick plug. You're going straight in. Let's go.
Amazing. Hi guys, I'm Jen. I have been your local friendly to everyone but Cassian wizard, Australia. Because fuck Cassian, but also like fuck Cassian, Anyway,
Yeah.
I can be found on Twitter at JenBurb and on twitch.tv/plothunters. On some Saturdays. We're a little irregular right now, so bear with us, but I swear we're fun. That's me. I like playing games. Invite me to your games.
Cool. Lulu next.
Oh, hi, I'm Lulu. I've been playing Callista, the cleric who just realized how creepy it is to have somebody talk into your head when you're not expecting it. Sorry about that, everyone. You can find me on Twitter mostly at Lulu in Washington. And although I haven't had a chance to actually start painting any of them, all the minis for our characters showed up.
Woo! Yay!
Of course,
Make sure they're all Dirkle.
Yeah.
Dirkle,
So I am going out of town, so I won't be able to start them probably until next week, but hopefully I'll be able to get them painted up quick. And
All
that's
right.
me.
Oh my god, it's so
Cool.
exciting.
Next up, Kumi. Well,
Hello,
yeah, Kumi.
I'm Kumi. I'm playing Kalyuka today. You can catch me over at Kumi Curiosities, either on Twitter or Instagram. And I also play in a weekly Spelljammer campaign on Thursdays at 8:30 a.m. EDT, which you can catch on the Pigeon Killers YouTube or Twitch. And that's from me.
Nice. Lindsay.
Hello, I'm Lindsay. I play the Crazy Kenku. I also am currently raising baby birds as I play. So these are our D&D babies. You can find me on Twitter at Chunky Chickadee, with the last E being a 1 instead of E. And I've started posting my shenanigans and my adventures, and soon to be some baby birds. Yay!
Oops. And last but not least, Joan.
Hi, I'm Onyx /Joan/A_wild_Akafan on the tweeps. And you can also find me occasionally guest hosting on 3 Black Halflings, which is the number 3 Black BLACK Halflings. And stay tuned for some possible academic level shenanery on the 3 Black Halflings channel.
Oh,
Check us
lovely.
out. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Okay, and that leaves me. I am Kat, the Law Mistress, otherwise known as Law Mistress 93. I write, I blog. You can check out my blog at thelawmistress.co.uk. I write about myths and legends and things, D&D, and TTRPG. Also, I stream, obviously, or I don't stream myself, but I poach other people's channels and occasionally show my face. So you can find me on every other Thursday. I am playing Ariel in a cyberpunk red AP. Loving that so far. I'm playing Ariel / Siren. And that's on VA Redemption's channel. And then on here, I am every Sunday creeping everyone out, mostly myself, with spiders. Yes, that is it. Thank you so much. We are going to be raiding Tavernaut. We love Tavernaut. Always absolutely an absolute lifesaver when we were having tech gremlins on our very first our first time that we streamed. Cool. If that is everything, then we shall see you all next Sunday, and cheerio. Spiders. Bye.